can you make things in your life simple? So, what does that mean? Well, that means stripping back perhaps all the complexity, all the points to do this and to do that, or maybe all the equipment you use. Or is there a way of using one thing instead of three things? What comes to mind with me is when we talk about time management and we talk about how to make things and get things done, we come up with all these frameworks and strategies. And sometimes you can just take one idea and turn that one idea into something that makes the real difference. So I suppose that's a good question, isn't it? With simplicity, what's the one thing you could do that makes the whole difference? What's the one thing you could do that makes the whole difference? What could you do that actually eliminates other things? So a couple of ideas that I sort of scribbled down on my pad here while I'm staying here. One idea I thought about was templates, using templates and checklists. So if you do something on a regular basis, why don't you make a checklist for it? You can do that on a notepad, or you can do that on, I use an iPad, or you can use it on your phone. But you just make a checklist to remind you of the steps that you go through each time and just tick them off. And that gives your brain a chance to just, think about other things, and it also makes sure you don't forget. Now, I know we use shopping lists, don't we? We use shopping lists, but shopping lists tend to be, you think of something and you write it down. Well, what if you had a list of all the things that you do buy and you simply could just go through and tick them and take that to the shop with you? Or maybe you have a routine when you make a video. So for example, like I do, I always have a routine. The routine I have is I think about what I'm going to talk about. I make sort of like a Canva placeholder and post it in the groups. And then I come live 12 o'clock or whatever time you're watching this on, and I have a routine and I go through that idea. I deliver what I say, and then I go through the comments at the end. So that's first idea. What about the idea of simplifying your wardrobe, only using the same sort of clothes over and over again, or same type of clothes, make it simple? There's a couple of famous people actually famous for this. If you think of Obama, he used to only wear one type of suit and one type of shirt. Steve Jobs, he only used to wear a pair of jeans and a black t-shirt. And both of them in their memoirs say that the reason why they did that is they had more important things to think about rather than thinking about what they were going to wear each day. So I wonder, what about your wardrobe? Could you simplify it? Could you start to declutter it? Could you use the same things over again in different ways? Have you got that item of clothing in the back of your cupboard that you never ever use and maybe it's time to recycle? How could you simplify your wardrobe? And I'm going to, my idea for this talk is I'm going to go and simplify my drawer that I've got loads of t-shirts in, and I'm going to post a picture in the group for a bit of accountability as well to show you what I've done. And maybe that's what you could do. You could post some pictures of how you've simplified things. Another idea, what about simplifying your diet? What about simplifying what you cook? So could you make a meal out of only 5 ingredients? Be interested, give us some help. I know there'll be lots of people in this group who could do that. What's your favourite meal with only 5 ingredients and 5 simple ways to cook it, or a simple way to cook it? How could you simplify meals with only 5 nutritious ingredients? What about simplifying the products that you use in your house? So go under your kitchen cupboard, if that's where you store all your cleaning products, and have a look to see how many cleaning products that actually you could get rid of and only have one cleaning product. And maybe think about the earth when you're thinking about this. Think about the cleaning products that's not going to do harm and damage. One that maybe you can refill and keep using the same spraying container or whatever you use. Could you only use one type of product? And you'll probably notice if you look at the ingredients on those products, they probably all have the same thing in, but just a bit more scent of this or a bit more of that, or you get bamboozled with the antibiotic whatever's, and all those stuff. So maybe you could just pick one. I'm sure about 30 years ago they only used one thing, but now we've got all these products, and if you just go and look down the cleaning aisle in your local supermarket or wherever you shop, there's thousands of different types of washing liquids, but probably we only need one type of washing liquid. So that's simplifying the products. And the last thing about simplifying is simplifying the message. Think about what you're saying. So if I just think now and reflect back on what I've talked about. Yes, at the start I talked about, the reason why, and that's okay. They're just a bit of chat with us to get going. But the simple message from today for me is try over the summer now to simplify something in your life that makes it easier for you. So simplify one thing over the summer that makes it easier for you. And secondly, post that idea in the chat so everybody can benefit from it. Now, you might have heard there's a poem, but I could never remember the poem. I just remember the words when you talk about when you're simplifying a message. And if you mention in your message the who, the what, the where, the when, and the why, the 5 whys, the who, the what, the where, the when, and why. I had to look at my pad there. Did you see that? Those 5 things, the who, the what, the where, the when, and the why, the 5 whys, then your message is simplified for people. And some people say, yes, Steve, but what about the how? Well, actually, if you get the who, the what, the where, the when, and the why, you don't have to worry about the how because the people will make that up themselves. So why don't you put your hows down below? How are you going to simplify the next 5 weeks over the summer? Let's have a simplified summer.